I am not Channing Crowder. What's that nigga name from the pilot, nigga?
The
Bro,
pivot.
yo, the
Channing
pivot
Crowder. Yo, he's funny as
pilot,
hell.
man, yo, that nigga is too
Horny.
no. I would say uh free if I like
Yeah,
my
he
nigga.
says whatever the fuck
My
he
nigga's
wants to
like, you
say.
an alpha. You can hold Joe Johnson and talk to another man. First of all, if you holding your dick while talking to me, I don't think there is further conversation to be had. Listen, you want to identify me as not an alpha? Cool. I am okay with that. I am
I
fine
think
with
this whole alpha, beta, sigma things is just concept made
yeah,
up.
whatever. I'm a
Just
theta.
made up.
Well, make
Just
yourself a Zelta, whatever the fuck that shit. I am not about to sit there with
Omega,
no
whatever
penis
the fuck.
with you and your penis, nigga. Like that's not what we doing. But we're live. We're
Yeah,
live.
we live, man. Well, shout out to y'all for here.
Shout out to y'all.
Frequently late.
Shout out to shout out to everybody that's rocking with us without
So yeah, we're here to talk about wrestling, but get started soon. We were just talking about Channing Crowder on the Pivot podcast. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. This dude's crazy.
No, what's crazy is, man. Y'all are here. This is reasonable wrestling, and this is reasonably late. And sometimes it's going to get like that. Okay. Now I don't want y'all to be unabashed by the activities that will take
Yeah, man.
place on this podcast. But listen, we're gonna dabble in like it's gonna be sprinkles like parsley. We're gonna like a little bit of sports. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of pop culture, a little bit of innuendo might be in there as well. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, it might be a lot of innuendo.
We're gonna listen. He just be. It's a layered cake here. The majority of the cake is gonna be wrestling, but that icing might be a lot of innuendo, and you're gonna sprinkles a lot of little pop culture on there. Shit, you know. But hey, man, welcome all five of you. Appreciate it for even if you're watching this later
Yeah,
on.
listen, we need the bots back. I don't nigga that one week that shit was looking nice. I don't even know what we were talking about. I might need to bring that combo back, brother. All right,
Like,
we about
like,
to
how are you? I was like, who the fuck is this?
shit, we should have engaged. Yeah.
Talk to the
Hashtag,
bots.
hashtag engaged. Yeah.
Shit, I
All
went
right,
back and
man.
look at who came onto our pod like Istanbul, Turkey, Hungary. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this? Hey man, if y'all here with us, we appreciate y'all. That's all I gotta say. And if you're on SoundCloud listening to this, I'm not sure if we're on there yet, but shout out to y'all.
We will be at the but SoundCloud gets the show literally right after. It's like no edits, no nothing. It's almost as if y'all are with us live. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So shout out to everybody that's with this audio medium. Shout out to everybody that's listening to us or watching us on YouTube. So let's go ahead and give y'all what I came here for. Three, two.
It's simple.
A little quick on a draw right there. You know what I'm saying? I feel good about that. Yo, 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 yo. Welcome everybody. It's I, the Most High, the Trent Roller Ayatollah, the Most High. With my tag team partner, CT, aka Chitty Bang. And we are the Reason Wrestling Crew. Holla at your boys. What's good?
Was good. Was good. And we're the Underground and Professional Wrestling Podcast. That's why we're here recording at 12:58 a.m. on a Saturday night or Sunday morning, I guess you could say. So yeah,
Mother's
we
Day.
are. Is it Mother? Yeah, shit. It is Mother's Day. I saw. You know what? I forgot completely. I got to hit my mom up. Thank you for reminding me. So yes, it's Mother's Day. Shout out to the mothers out there, man. We got so much love for the mothers. He got so much love for y'all. I was born from mother. I know it's kind of crazy to hear that, but we all were.
And this is and that is and that's why it's reasonable, like because like this nigga's like, yeah, I was born from mother. I will hope so with your baby in the
I'm fucking around, man. I'm fucking around. Listen, man. Shout out to everybody listening. We're here to talk about the week that wasn't professional wrestling. Check us out on RW Podcast on Twitter to follow our takes over there. We live tweet during the shows and whatnot. Throughout the week, we talk about some shit with some of y'all. You know. Shout out to everybody listening on SoundCloud, like we said earlier. Shout out to everybody watching us right now on YouTube, RW Regional Wrestling Podcast, same tag on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out everywhere. Medias are socialed. And yeah, holla at your boys. But yeah, we're here to tap into a week that wasn't professional wrestling. Where do you want to start, Joint? Roy Law, Ayatollah. I can't really. It doesn't roll off the tongue quite well. We should just go with.
It's been the name for a minute, brother. Joint Roller Ayatollah. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't know where that name comes from, it comes from these papers right here. Joint Roller Ayatollah rolling papers. You can get yours at eiwshop.com. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just gonna say, Chris, what's up? How do you?
This nigga said joint roller rigger roller ragga.
Listen, I did not say that. Don't even play me like that.
Yeah, no, man. Honestly, like fuck it. We can just start. We can start where it's fresh.
SmackDown,
the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. Roman returning. Sammy finally going to Saudi. Like. There is a slew of things that just happened over the past couple of days that we can roll into. So,
let's talk a little bit of SmackDown. Let's talk about the week. Let's talk about this. Let's just jumble it all together. We had a week of wrestling. Let's start with WWE. WWE. Obviously, there's a World Heavyweight Championship tournament going down to crown the new champion, World Heavyweight Champion. That will be the primary main event championship on Raw. On Raw, we had two triple threats that led to a singles match between Finn Balor and Seth Rollins to determine the finals. And then on SmackDown, we had two triple threats to determine a singles match that led to AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley to determine the finalists. Seth Rollins was the victor on Raw. AJ Styles was the victor on SmackDown. Now, you may think this is controversial, but I think it's not. I think it's a foregone conclusion that once Raw ended, we knew who the champion was going to be. To me, that's what it was. Once Raw ended, I didn't need to see SmackDown. We already know that Seth Rollins, all right, he's a champion. That basically was the championship match in my mind. So I get it. We had to go to SmackDown, see who's on the other side of the bracket. But I don't think in the right mind of the people who are drafting and making all this draft shit up that really doesn't make any sense anymore because clearly it doesn't matter. Would draft the champion to SmackDown and then just to have them win it and go back to Raw. I don't think that would be the case. So in my mind, logically, once Seth pins Finn Balor to the mat, he became champion in my mind.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, a lot of people have made it a big thing out of nothing about this tournament and this new championship and things of that nature. But to me, I hear what you're saying. It's not against logical reasoning to be like, yeah, Seth is going to be the champion. But again, that's not going to deter me from watching Seth and AJ turn that motherfucker bitch out. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. I kind of was rooting for Edge on SmackDown, to be quite honest, because I think Edge and, Edge fighting for the championship against Seth Rollins would have some kind of reasonable doubt in my mind. It would make some reasonable, maybe Edge can win this, and then it'll be the end, and it'll be a send off. He won a championship he never lost, and that be the storyline going into, now the champions, and then subsequently moving forward if he does win it, towards his retirement, which will be happening this year. He keeps hinting at it. I thought that was the wisest decision to go with. However, I know AJ just came back. It's an opportunity to make him in a very high profile match, which is great to him. But I kind of would like to see him or what like to see Edge. I think that would have been even better. It was a good match. I think and one thing I want to give them props for is that the triple threat matches were dope. I think the way they set the tournament up was dope. At first, I was like a little skeptical. Like I kind of wanted to see singles matches with all these guys, but then I was like, no, they changed it up a little bit. Triple threat matches, get two during the night. They got to wrestle twice instead of wrestling a bunch of times throughout the next couple of weeks. We already know what the finals is this week.
Yeah, they did a real they was like, listen, and this is where we talk about the business and the logic. This is where we kind of the essence and the genesis of the show began. Why are they doing this? This doesn't make sense. Why are they doing this? This doesn't make sense. It kind of does. It kind of doesn't. We kind of hammered it a little bit last week when we talked about trying to make things logical. I think your portion of it is illogical, right? Edge being involved in a championship match. But I will say this. Seth and AJ have been away from each other for quite a long time. And they only had a one-off that last time Seth was champion. It was during the time where we thought AJ deserved the right. You were saying, hey, AJ needs a push. AJ needs to be in the title picture. AJ, right? And they kind of let AJ squat. We talk about it. It's not always your time to shine. It's not always your time to be present. And we always talk about, well, there's a way that you do it and there's a way you don't do it. And they take some of their commodities and assets for granted. AJ Styles being one of them. They didn't necessarily position him in a situation where we would ultimately always care about him to where this would matter as much right now. But to those who can, like, not just surface level clean a little bit, you know what I'm saying, know how to spray the shit down and let it sit for a little bit, let the foam rise up to the bottom and wipe it down again. We see like, AJ and Seth is going to be fresh, quote unquote. Seth can coordinate himself. AJ will be a gracious loser, quote unquote. And I mean, realistically, like you look on that side of the bracket, Edge and Seth has a story. But I don't know if I would want to have seen that again, even with the stakes on the line for a title. Seth and Bobby, we literally saw that for months on end with the United States Championship. I don't think I would have wanted to see that. And that went back to my whole thing about the bracket and the tournament in itself. There isn't really a ton of, I think that guy can be champion guys right now. Right? We have those in our mind. We have those that we can create. We have those that we think that we can build up and things of that nature. But there's not a lot of ready-made guys right now. And the draft didn't necessarily expose that, but the draft necessarily was like, hey, there's some flaws in this. We didn't want to be top-heavy guys because, like, we know, like, this is the logical part. We drive. You see it on the ticker at the bottom one time. It's what's best for you, who's the best available. Like, it's tons of fucking shit that goes into it. And if NFL people are drafting all the best available, niggas will have nothing but wide receivers, nothing but quarterbacks. Like, what is your need, nigga? Don't you need a safety? Don't you need an offensive tackle?
I mean, I think that the way that WWE, any wrestling company, the way they GM is not going to be what the fans always want. And I'm not here to say that we know better than them. I'm not here to ever say that. What I will do is lay out a plan from my perspective of what would be better and what I think would have been the best way of going about it. Because sometimes we see it, and then in hindsight, we're like, nigga, my way was better anyways. We should have drafted the wide receiver instead of the fucking center. Like that's how it ends up being, and it's like, a lot of the times, even in football, the fans be knowing shit. They know what's best sometimes, and they do the wrong thing. And it's Monday night quarterback backing, whatever you want to call it. It's hindsight, revisionist history, and we get it. So in the long run, maybe it is AJ versus Seth is the best thing to do. Maybe Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar continuing their feud is the best thing to do. Maybe Edge, being positioned in the match and losing his chance is the best thing to do. But I think that the more and more I thought about the entire landscape of what they set up, the more and more I was like, yo, out of all the people here, everybody thinks it's going to be Seth. Why not give them something else and also give give the fans a good feel good moment and crowning Edge, and down the road he can still drop it to Seth. I think that there's so much you can get out of that storyline because I think Seth being champion, I think in some ways, obviously he's gonna be champion for a while, but in some ways that's it. Like, it's like, to me, it's like, oh, we've been singing his music all this time. He's champion now. Where do we go from here after he's champion? And it kind of feels like a peak and a plateau. And we already got that on SmackDown.
How do you literally say that? How is crazy that you say that for Seth and you don't say that for Cody?
Because Seth has faced everybody on the roster. Cody would have faced Brock Lesnar right after, who he's not faced in. He hasn't faced ever, and he would have been champion. Like, clearly there's intrigue there that can extend that feud for a championship until SummerSlam, or at least some Money in the Bank, where him and Seth could pick it back up. There's a lot of legs with Cody. But if we are going to give the title to Seth, what are we going to do? Throw Cody at him? Like, after this, like, I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, so.
I mean, wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chidi. You're telling me that Seth and Cody is boring for a championship?
I'm not saying it's boring. You put words in my mouth now.
No. I mean, the despondent nature of, like, what are we gonna do? Like, I think, again, realistically, you're saying
saw that last year, and it's cool. There is legs there still, but I would like a little bit more of a gap between seeing that again. That's why, in my mind, get Cody away from Seth for a little bit, put him on SmackDown, have him chase ending the story with Roman Reigns still having hurdles in front of him. All that stuff throughout the year would have been better for me. Now, hey, we don't want to talk about what could have been. Let's talk about what is.
Well, yeah, Seth and Gunther is right there for us. I like Seth and Gunther is right there for us. Right when Gunther decides to drop the IC Championship, when he looks at that World Heavyweight Championship, when he looks at Seth, we have that right off the top. I'm just like, because what I'm doing right now, I have the Raw Rock. I'm looking at, you're saying, what does Seth do? Seth wrestled everybody. We got Seth and Gunther. We got Seth and JD McDonough. We got Seth and Johnny Gargano. We got Seth and
get the fuck out of here, bro. We're not seeing JD McDonough go after the championship. Neither are we seeing Johnny Gargano. Let's be real here, bro. They're not getting the shot.
Hold on. You don't think that I'm not saying right now, brother. I'm like,
but that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in the near future once he gets the title.
You're talking about in the near future. In the near future, Nakamura's on the roster, bro. Matt Riddle's on the roster. The Miz is on the roster. I know you don't want to see the Miz and Seth Rollins, but I mean, listen. Again,
no, I'm cool with it. They can tell a good story.
Drew
had a great match.
Drew McIntyre's on the roster.
Drew McIntyre is the one. I'll tell you right now, he's the one. They need to sign him back, and he needs to turn heel. If you sign him back, you sign Drew back, he turns heel and comes back and takes off. Takes out Seth with a Claymore. You got me locked in. But I'm gonna be honest with you right now. It was a good week of wrestling. I'm not trying to be anti. I'm not trying to be the heel here. But I'm me. I'm Nostradamus, man. I can predict mid a mile away. It's gonna be mid. Raw looks like it's about to be mid, and I'm just saying that right now. You can clip this if you want, but I have a feeling that the summer is gonna be mid for Raw, and that's just my opinion. But we'll see. I could be wrong, and I really hope I am.
How is Raw? I mean, what's your inclination on that? Like, please just tell me that. Like, what? Because Seth is champion.
This is me, and it's not just Seth being champion. The energy I'm feeling is that the draft is whack to me. It took me a little bit out of it. They're pushing this whole thing with Roman and Night of Champions. I believe that that's going to take a lot of the steam and excitement from they're going to put a lot of attention on that. That storyline is going to be all told on Raw and SmackDown. Clearly, this draft means nothing in my mind.
Why is it going to be told on Raw and SmackDown, brother? It's exclusively to SmackDown now.
Did you not see that he's going after the tag team championship, which is KO and Sammy, who's on Raw? Like, this is what I'm trying to say. And to you, like, you can hold your face all you want. This is logical, bro. So I'm just.
I hear you, but we literally just had Sammy and KO are able to compartmentalize themselves and bounce between two rosters. They just had something on Monday, a good match with Imperium, which isn't in the Bloodline. The Bloodline just has something with LWO, which isn't with fucking Sammy and KO. So with the Usos, I'm sorry. So there is like you say, layers to this cake that are being added that isn't something that we've already had before. Now, I can hear what you're saying, like, oh, it's gonna listen. I ain't finna begrown something. You can call yourself Nostradamus all you want. I'm just gonna say right now, the roster took into effect on Monday, and like you said, this week did not give me any indication that it was gonna be mid. So I don't even know how
they came into effect on Monday, and they immediately on Friday started booking matches between Raw and SmackDown competitors, which is ridiculous to me. And that's all I'm trying to point out. Night of Champions is going to be Sammy and KO versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. I wasn't talking about the Usos, bro. They can have their fun with the LWO. That's fine. I'm talking about the booking that goes against the whole premise of what we just had a whole 4 weeks on.
It's not a premise, bro. Bro, are the tag team championships exclusive to one brand, or do they bounce back and forth? So, I mean, that means Sammy and KO are going to have storylines with SmackDown characters and Raw characters, my nigga. Like, that's not hard to fucking, like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
All right. Listen, all I'm saying is we'll see how Raw turns out in the long run. Listen, man, if you're going to enjoy it, I'll sit here. I'll wait and watch and see. But, yeah, AJ versus Seth, should be a great match and Night of Champions. I will say this, though, outside of the World Heavyweight Championship, the Universal Championship, Universal WWE Championship, I believe it should be defended as well. I don't care if Roman has to do 2 matches. I don't care if it's defended even in that match, if it's part of the stipulation or whatever. It's called Night of Champions. And we've always said that all championships are defended on Night of Champions, right? So I believe that title should be on the line in some capacity that night. I hope that happens, because at the end of the day, he hasn't defended it since WrestleMania. If he goes to Night of Champions, doesn't defend it, I don't see it happening until SummerSlam, honestly. So, in my opinion, I think that's a little bit too long.
Oh my gosh! This is what I don't understand. Okay, you're talking.
What the fuck is wrong with you, man? You getting all fucking.
Well, yeah, you called. You said, "Are you sure you want to part of it?" I am sure right now, nigga. Roman defended his title every fucking PPV, PLE, ABCDEFG last year, my nigga. Like, he was there. His story was throughout thick, and now this year is dialed back, and you telling me he can't skip pay-per-view?
No, he's coming. That'll be 3. That'll be Backlash, Night of Champions, Money in the Bank. That's 3. I'm just saying that.
Bro, Money in the Bank. The Money in the Bank is defended in London, brother. Like, I'm not.
Okay. All right. Then there you go. That's all you gotta say. You're gonna act like I'm crazy, bro. 3 times.
I mean, Backlash. I did not expect him to be. I didn't expect him to go to Puerto Rico.
I mean, that was fine with me. I didn't complain. I was like, all right,
right.
Cool.
But with this particular, it ain't like he ain't showing up. Right? This is a different thing. it ain't like he's not showing up and competing. He's just not defending the championship. But this goes back to me and you talking about if there's no the roster just took place on the 8th. There is no suitable. Would you want them to have a tournament for the Universal?
Here's what I would say: you gotta either put Roman in two angles, two matches that night, or if Sammy or KO pin and retain their tag titles, the one who gets the pin is the new Universal Champion or undisputed Universal Champion. That stipulation alone adds another layer to the match. And I'm only saying this because it's not a champions, bro. That's why. Because that's what, and this is the thing about WWE, and you're like, yeah, whatever. You're okay with like them setting the expectations and changing them on the fly. I'm not.
Chidi, we don't need, hold on, brother. They don't even have a United States Championship match. They don't have an Intercontinental Championship match. None of the fucking women matches are announced.
Yet.
So what are we talking about?
Yeah.
None of those 4 titles are even on the card right now.
Yeah. Which will
okay,
they will
so
be.
Neither is Roman. So what are you talking about? I mean, like,
that's what I'm talking about. How would I book that championship? I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. I'm saying that it should happen. I'm not saying. I'm saying that. Go ahead.
No.
Because you already know he's in one championship match already, and it's not the one he holds. I do think the one he holds should be defended at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia as well. So I don't know why that's a crazy take.
I didn't say that's a crazy take, but what I'm asking you is, again, the roster just took place. You said it's boring with Seth being champion. Tell me who's not going to be boring with him being a fucking challenger of Roman. You want them to rush Bobby? That's not fucking SummerSlam worthy? Like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we rushing the challenge? Who's the challenger that you would just throw in there for Saudi? And I'm looking at the
I just said, like, yo, it could be Edge, it could be anybody who lost, literally anyone who lost in that tournament. Or you can just defend it in that tag team match. So it's like another stipulation, adds a little bit more drama to the match. So we know that a title will be changing that night. It adds a little bit more stakes, you know. That's all, and that's all I'm trying to say, bro. Like, it's not crazy.
It does, because when I break down your logic and you said it adds a little bit more stakes, you just got upset that Roman was involved in the tag team championship. So
I didn't get upset about that. I'm saying that's cool. The storyline makes sense. I like it. Yeah, I'm just saying his title should be defended that night too.
Just dive deep into I'm trying to have the conversation and dive deep.
Right,
you said add it to the fucking championship match. You want Roman to win the tag team titles, or who the fuck between Sammy and Kevin is winning the championship? That's what I'm trying to get to you.
I'm not talking about the result.
Now you got Roman holding like 8 titles on this motherfucker.
I didn't book the match, nigga. I did not book the match. Go talk to them. I did not book the match, but I'm saying if you're putting him in a match, he should be defending his championship at Night of Champions. They have always said it historically. The importance of this championship, this pay-per-view, this PLE, is that every championship is defended. Historically, this always took in place. So why different this year? Why should it be different this year? Why? You tell me. They booked the tag team match and put the champion in it, not me. That was their decision.
Okay.
Put a poll out. Would you like to see Roman defend the championship at Night of Champions? Ask the fan base. I can almost 100% agree that they'd be like, yeah. People want to see that some way, somehow.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing that Roman should have a challenger, but we're talking about a championship caliber challenger. You just got upset, or not upset, because Jesus Christ, I can't fucking say that word with you. Hold on. You just said Seth can't be champion because he ran through. You telling me the Saint Roman God 1,000-day champion hasn't ran through a roster, and you telling me to just pick up somebody that we care about to wrestle in Saudi? I mean, I don't see how it's Uchiwali and one Mike. You know, like Seth can't be champion because the challengers are like, you know, whatever.
Listen, what I'm trying to get to, and let's put it this way, so it's very clear. always with me is storyline. If they can tell a good storyline with Seth Rollins, I'm locked in. If he can tell a good storyline with him and anybody, I don't care if it's fucking Brooklyn Brawler. If it's a good storyline, I'm gonna be locked in. Seth Rollins, that's for him. If they don't, it's gonna be mid because guess what? He's gonna win a championship. He's probably gonna hold it to at least Royal Rumble. In my mind, how I'm looking at it, unless it's a quality opponent. You know, at the end of the day, with Roman, he has captivated the audience on SmackDown with his reign. He came back on SmackDown last night, had a great promo, get a great angle with the Bloodline, got all in Jimmy's face, mushed that nigga. Even the guy who wore the Nobody's Bitch shirt was being bitched out in front of everybody. He announced that he pulled some strings with Paul Heyman, that they're going to get a tag team match to get the tag team titles back in the Bloodline with Roman and Solo. That alone added intrigue. People are talking about it. People are interested in it. You know? What would make it more interesting to me as far as storytelling? Sammy and Cahill have been trying to get that Universal Championship out of Roman's hands for like 3 years, bro. So this is one more last chance for them, and it's also a chance for Roman to take something back to the Bloodline, which would be the tag team titles. But that alone adds a dynamic for the tag team championship match that we have not seen in a very long time, and a dynamic that only somebody's losing something on that come night of champions. That
makes sense. Roman is already.
I just laid it out for you.
Okay, yeah, and so did Roman when Triple H introduced a whole new championship because he said the motherfucker don't want to defend it all the goddamn time. You think he gonna defend it in a tag team match? You telling me the nigga who in storyline is telling you he's pulling strings backstage for him to choose his opponent when and where, and you think he gonna fucking defend it in a tag team match?
Dude, you can tell a story to get the title on the line anyway.
I know what you're saying, Chief.
It's Night of Champions, bro. I don't know if I'm speaking Chinese, but this has been historically a pay-per-view where all the champions were defended. Mind you, if this is Backlash and this tag team match was taking place, I wouldn't have said the stipulation. Just so you know, I wouldn't have proposed the stipulation, but I'm looking for a way where we can have the best night come Night of Champions at this point, you know, and still continue with the rules that they so to speak set for their PLE every single year. There's tradition of it, you know. And me, I'm a traditionalist. Maybe I'm crazy to say, yeah, maybe the draft should not have people face each other at the next pay-per-view, that are two different brands. I get it. Maybe I'm a person.
The last Night of Champions was 2015. That's the last Night of Champions. That is the very last Night of Champions. So I hear you of the historic nature of what we're talking about and what we're speaking about, and of course, like, yes, all championships are defended in that aspect. Rollins did it 2 nights.
We had Clash of Champions last year, which I think was in place of it, and I do believe that everything was defended, right?
Rollins was the last person that did the double duty with Cena and Sting for a title. He had the United States Championship where he lost it to Cena, and then that's the match where he broke Sting, and that championship match. So that was the last quote unquote, like you say, Night of Champions. Clash of Champions, like you say, it's the same elk.
Yes, it's a traditional successor of the Night of Champions model.
It's of the same elk. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that you're saying anything wrong. What I am saying is that within storyline, where you're saying every championship needs to be defended, we're talking about a champion who has already said that I defend my title when and where and how I choose to. And I hear what you're saying, like, well, they say you can do it anyway, you can write it anyway. And they're writing it to say like he is writing, they're writing it to say that he's writing his own story. It's meta. It's real meta, right? You know what I'm saying?
If you're saying that Roman is that powerful that he gets to choose that he doesn't have to wrestle Night of Champions and defend his or he doesn't have to defend his championship Night of Champions,
right?
Then yeah, tell a story on TV and I'll be fine. Like you guys can keeps calling shots, and that's what they're doing. Cool. I'm saying that you could add a little bit more sauce on this PLE by adding it. But I do want to hear other people's opinion. Like, clip it up and ask people, like, do they think that Roman should defend the Universal Championship? I want to hear people's opinion on that, because maybe I am bugging. Maybe at this point he's in a tag team match for a championship. He shouldn't defend it anymore, and we should just rock with the storyline angle of he's that guy where he gets to call the shots, and he's not doing it this time.
Well, because I want to dive deep into this conversation, and we don't have to stay long on this particular. The differentiation between championships is this: the heavyweight championship that Seth Rollins is fighting for is going to be the fighting champion to where you don't have to do what you're doing right now, right? We know that every time somebody has that title is going to be defended house shows across the world, every PLE, ever PPV. Like, it's been told within these last couple of weeks, this ain't the politicking championship, right? This ain't the championship. I run back and be like, yo, man, I'm sick. You gonna have to call in Solo and Riddle for another. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't gonna be that title. But also, Roman has made himself feel like an attraction to where anybody who wrestles him, don't just wrestle him just because, right? And if we're looking at it between WrestleMania and now, the only person who would have felt special enough to step in that place has been occupied, which is Cody, right? There has not been anybody else to step in those shoes, to feel attractive, to feel big enough, to feel box office enough, to go after a storyline written, because that's what Roman has been. Roman is like, listen, even with Bobby ain't just going to be able to come out and be like, I want that championship. It's going to have to be, and this is why I'm asking you, and this is why I'm trying to get here. This is the roster of SmackDown. It's AJ, Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, Cameron Grimes, Edge, Grayson Waller, Karrion Kross, LA Knight, Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, Sheamus. Those are the only singles guys on that roster right now. You let me know if Roman ain't calling out with his name across one of them niggas. Because I know if I'm Roman, I am.
This is the thing. We're at a stalemate right now.
Even if it's Sheamus, even if it's Bray, even if it's Edge, I've been there, done that, nigga. I'm calling out of work that day. Like, you got to give me something that like that got a little, like you say a little sauce on it, right? Nigga, ain't even no meat on those bones right now. Like, Bobby, it ain't that big. Yeah,
Bobby's one. Yeah, he's the biggest meat.
He's the only big dog. And with that, you're gonna have to marinate it. You're gonna have to marinate it. You're gonna have to rub it down. You have to sit it in the fridge. It's gonna have to slow cook.
And that brings me to another point, because you had this whole tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship, which was going to be a Raw Championship, had a whole side of a bracket get fed to lose pretty much to the Raw champion and lose significant matches that mattered on SmackDown to me. Now, then we're going to have Roman in a tag team match right after that, meaning that these guys just got to sit back and watch for like a month and a half or plus and be like, okay, where do I go from here? And they all lost, and AJ's going to lose too. Like, that's the thing. You're putting all, like, what's the best way to showcase these talents? Because at the end of the day, yeah, you got Roman with a chokehold on SmackDown, but how are you going to get them over to get us to feel like, all right, this guy is an actual threat? Bobby's that dude. I think everybody feels it. Bobby's the guy. He's the only one on that roster that can step up to the plate, other than AJ, maybe. Yeah, AJ always had great chemistry with Roman, but after he just lost to Seth, like, that's the thing I'm trying to say. Like, and then Bobby just lost to Triple.
Well, this is my thing too. Logically, wins and losses really doesn't matter that much. And I think that was something that I always wanted to. And I hear you. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, I hear you.
like, yes, I hear you with that, but that can also play in a storyline. Like, yo, in football, it's any given Sunday. In basketball, I can have an off night. Like in competitive nature, even though you're the best, sometimes you're not always the best. You know what I'm saying? And I know they're not going to tell the storyline. I know we fill in a lot of blanks that they're falling in for us. But I can tell you this. AJ and Bobby lost a ton of matches before. Right? And like again, we made it. Bobby showed his asshole and lost to the demon. You know what I'm saying? AJ was in a fucking tag team match with Omos. He was like, "Oh my god, get this nigga away!" Like,
but you feel me though? Like, we don't got that much time. Like smack,
but
like,
but we do.
It was in a couple of months.
But this is what I'm saying. We do though, because I will say this: between now and SummerSlam, Bobby can get mean enough, mad enough, and agitated enough. We seen it to matter really quick. AJ got the support of his homies, so it ain't like he no dumbass babyface that's about to get jumped by the. So we can get some real gang shit popping off. So we can honestly microwave some stuff real nice, but I think, like you say, the real meat, the real tenderness of it is Bobby Roman, and I think that I think honestly with
the only way Bobby's gonna matter against Roman if Bobby takes out Solo. Bobby would need to like really take out Solo before that match even happens.
Yeah,
you know. So,
and Solo's already invincible. Like we've already seen that. And listen, don't get me wrong. You want to talk about storyline? Bobby can step up to the plate. Roman can dismiss him and say, "Nigga, you lost in that tournament." Bobby can say, "But I ain't lose to you." Everything can play, and then Roman can send his light work. Solo can lose. This is the second time Solo done lost. He done lost to Cody. Going against him, he lost to Bobby. We got all types of little shit that we can create that can fast track this real quick in 2 months.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
I would say,
then. Let's not fear. Triple H is here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Listen, I don't know who the fuck is in charge.
Triple H's been taking a lot of flack at how he booked these women division too.
Like, hell, he deserves it. He deserves
it. This women's division ain't really popping like we thought it would, but
he deserves it 100%. You know, I think that as much as we're getting love on Rhea and Bianca lately, they do have a lack of storytelling. You know, we had even just this week with Bianca coming out in her hometown Knoxville, about to cut a promo. She gets interviewed by Asuka. She has a new music. She comes out, sprays a mist in Bianca's face. I would have at least had Bianca say something before she came out and interrupted her, like something to take somewhere else, and this goes to my problems with the draft again. I'm sorry, but it's like we're getting Asuka and Bianca again, which cool, I'm down for, but we've been seeing this storyline being told since January. We're now here in the middle of the year, so it's like you need something more, and then now this is the Asuka I want to see before WrestleMania, a little bit more fire, a little bit more aggressive. She's obviously a heel now, so we get to see, but I think that they stretch things out a little bit too long. I think there's a lot of opportunity to get Bianca in a storyline that matters, and not that this is not going to matter at all, but I think that has limitations because of the language barrier and everything like that. Asuka can only cut so much promos, and I think that's Bianca's been so far away since Damage Control back in September, hasn't had an opportunity to like cut her teeth on a mic with somebody, and I think we're missing that a little bit. She's getting a little stale.
Damage Control got drafted right back to the same.
Yeah, to the same fucking roster. So we saw that right before. Now we're gonna see Damage Control and Bianca again. So like the draft was so mid to me, and it doesn't make any sense to me why they drafted the way they did. And on top of that, they don't really give a fuck about the draft really anyways. The next PLE is Roman and Solo versus Sammy and KO after they've been drafted. And I know you're saying, yeah, that you pulled some strings and all that stuff. But if you're going to write that, to me, that's lazy roundabout writing. I think that only matters when you guys stick to the script, like stick to like the rules of what you guys set. Oh, you're exclusively on Raw.
So would you prefer that? Would you prefer that KO and Sammy wrestle a Raw tag team?
Imperium been waiting. That tag team is like a great time for them. Rather than just losing on Raw, it could have been an angle there. And Roman could have had AJ on SmackDown. And Edge could have been facing Seth Rollins. Like, that's what I would have freaking done. So it's like a lot more like things popping off other than like we're just waiting for this like bloodline thing to continue. Like, there's no other things that are making you come to wrestling right now other than, hey, we all know Seth's going to win the championship. It doesn't feel like it's exciting. It feels like a foregone conclusion, honestly. And it feels like with Roman and this bloodline stuff, it's cool. We're waiting on the, the turn between Jay and Jimmy, or who's going to leave Roman, or that's what we're waiting for. Roman winning the tag team championships is not what anybody asked for, or Roman even competing for it is not what we asked for. But obviously, it's another layer, which hey, I'm not gonna be complaining, but you just had a draft. If you guys didn't have a draft, it would have made more sense. But you guys just had a draft and you're doing it right after that. It makes like it.
Yeah, Emma could have been on SmackDown.
So many things could have changed,
Chelsea Green could have been on SmackDown. Chelsea Green versus Bianca would have been nice.
I think it would have been an entertaining program, Shit, have Lacey Evans turn and come up and like attack her or something. Like, we just had Natalya pull up on Rhea, which is
Lacey on? Lacey's on SmackDown?
Yeah, so we got
SmackDown's roster is kind of, you got Asuka, you got Charlotte, you got Dakota, you got Io, you got Lacey, you got Mia Yim, you got Shotzi, and Zelina.
Only person that can go against Bianca is Lacey. Literally. Only person new.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
For the next year, we're going to see that roster against Bianca. So you pretty much got to get the title on a heel, like sooner than later, or you got to turn Bianca. Like, that's the only way you can make it interesting. So you're going to have this Asuka thing again, which we just saw. So there's like so many things I have problem with the way they book things. So if you want to say, yeah, Triple H we trust, I don't think so right now. I'm on the fence. I don't know who's in charge right now. I'll be honest with you. It doesn't feel like it did before. It feels like it's Vince, but I don't know. It could be Trips. It just feels like they are writing this stuff without a care in the world. It's like, we're doing the draft just to get you guys to tune in on Raw and SmackDown to make it a ratings pop. Even though they say ratings don't matter, that's what it felt like. You did your whole Bad Bunny thing. That was cool. Now he's gone. All right, what are we doing now? This World Heavyweight Championship thing. But we're going to have SmackDown guys fight for it right after the draft. Like, don't announce the draft at all if you're going to do all this stuff. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, just wait. Just wait a little bit. Like, you're doing this tag team match.
Those SmackDown guys, okay, I hear you, but those SmackDown guys that are now SmackDown were Raw guys. Like they were.
More to my point. They didn't need to do this. They didn't.
They didn't need to do what? They didn't need to do a draft.
They didn't, because it doesn't even feel like nothing changed. Honestly, it feels like you took Raw people, put it on SmackDown, and for the most part, and you put SmackDown people on Raw, and maybe there's a few pairings you can do differently. You might as well just had a shakeup or whatever you want to call it. It just feels mid. It just feels like it's a waste of fucking time for your audience. It feels like why should we be invested in the fucking draft in the first place? If the next pay-per-view you're gonna have Raw versus SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, like, hey, maybe that's the rule of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm bugging, but why are you gonna have a Raw SmackDown draft and then do the same WrestleMania angle for Bianca when people were just booing her? Like, let's get her hot with somebody else. So it's just and then put Damage Control, who she just feuded with, there too. Like, where's the foresight on this draft thing? And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there's so many things I could line up a draft model better than they could, so that it could add room for like potential matchups. Maybe they're waiting for Charlotte to come back, and that's what they're like. Oh wait, Charlotte, and that's gonna be the big thing, and probably that's what they're waiting for, man. But even that. It's probably going to be lazy and mid. They're going to put the title on Charlotte. Like, listen, I knew it was going to happen. Like, that's what's going to happen, and shit, we'll see. I don't want to. I enjoyed wrestling this week. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I did. The matches were good. The matches were good, and that's what I came for. But when I talk like this, it's like more always about storytelling. It's more like, all right, where are the stories, you know? And I say the same thing about AEW. NXT to be honestly doing better than both of the main roster shows, you know. Like NXT's been good, you know. Braun Breaker is looking like
what?
Braun Breaker is looking like a freaking threat. He's looking like he's meant to be since he looks like he's arrived finally, you know. And him and Carmelo, what they're building over there, I'm enjoying. They got the women's tag team, women's championship tournament going on. We already talked about the women's division down there. It seems to be picking up steam. You know, there's a lot of talented women down there, and we're just giving them props all past couple weeks. So I'm looking at it from that point of view with them, that they have abilities to take this to the next level with NXT. You know, and they got the Noam Dar's Heritage Cup. Has some rules attached to that tournament, which should be interesting as well, and just add some more dimensions to another entertaining match style. So we're waiting for Battleground. We'll see how the battle card turns up, but I'm down for it.
I mean, listen, I can't sit here and hear you talk about the storylines of Raw and SmackDown not necessarily giving you what you want. And I don't even have a real fucking feud for my nigga Wes Lee going into Battleground. He's approaching 200 days as NXT North American champion. And we don't have a substantive feud that I can attach to this run.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. They've been doing that with Wesley for a minute, and I think he's been holding it down.
Yeah, they have. They just telling him to go out there and have bangers of a match. But this goes back to me, me talking about what you just said. Like the writing and the storyline and the storytelling of NXT has not been there for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't.
You don't dig the Chase U stuff. You don't dig the you know, the Indy Hartwell stuff was good until she got injured. To me, I think the Carmelo and Braun Breaker thing. I think the only misstep, even the tag division has been good to me, honestly. But only misstep is with the North American Championship. It's really just been about workers. That championship has been about working and going out there and having a good match. A lot of competitive guys down there. Put them in a banger match and put it every single week, and he's been delivering. Now, if you're looking for a storyline with that.
I mean, there's no, bro. Okay, Indy winning the championship. That's the story. Okay, Carmelo winning the championship by cheating, and we just started cheering for this nigga. And like, where's the story in that? Braun is a heel. Like, yeah, you should be mad as fuck, man. But he's a heel. There's no story in that. The women.
No, there is. Him Trick has been holding it down for the past couple of weeks. Carmelo came back. He got speared out of his fucking boots. That shit was incredible. Like he did a springboard.
That's the action. What is the story, Chidi? What is the
he
story?
Put him. The story is that Braun Breaker is pissed, like you said, after his defense against Grayson Waller, put him through a fucking wall. His boy Trick said, "Yo, I came to defend him the next week. Had a whole promo with him. Like, listen, you ain't gonna play us. I'm challenging you to a match." He ended up beating Trick Williams this week. Carmelo made a return, and he laid him down again. Like Braun Breaker's on a tear. That's the storyline right now, and he's coming for a championship again. That's what I take from it. You know, I mean, maybe it's not the most exciting storyline or deep storyline, but I think that there's tension there. I'm like, oh shit, I don't know who's gonna take the title. I don't know where they're gonna go with it, but I think both men are on a different level than they were before, and I like that.
I mean, I can use that same argument for Seth and AJ on just a scale of we know Melo's the guy. Melo's the title holder. Just like Seth is the guy, the title holder. Right? We are building different elements within these characters, but like you say, what is the driving force here? Why should I care about Seth being champion? Why should I care about AJ being in this match? Why should I care about Carmelo and Braun when it hasn't been, when Braun has not came out and said, you cheated me out my shit, nigga. That's the story. Showing the motherfucking the replay, grabbing the ref by the motherfucking, you missed the call, like sports shit. Like no,
Nah, I feel you. It's the same thing with Cody. Cody didn't say that either. That's what I'm saying. Like there's certain
you put Cody on your top 5 ever since, nigga. I don't want to hear that.
I have not put him on top 5 ever since.
Off promos, nigga. I don't want to hear that.
You put Cody on your top 5 more than I did.
I don't want to hear that, nigga.
Yeah,
yeah.
But he ain't on this week, shit.
But I was. That's what I'm saying. Like in, like wrestling is good, but it can be better, of course.
Yeah, and it's those little things that I think that we're talking about here on both sides, like Raw and NXT. Yeah, there's little things that you can add, and it always goes back to the storytelling with me, man. Like, I'm sorry, but like things should matter when you say it, bro. When you say there's a draft, it should matter. When you say, hey, not a champion, it should matter. When you say, hey, he cheated, it should matter. When we see the guy cheating, you guys don't bring it up next night, we're like, what? When you say, okay, Brock beats up Cody Rhodes, and we never get an explanation for why, these little things are the reason why people are like, yo, what the fuck's going on? You know, like the reason why the bloodline angle was so good, I always say, is like they didn't leave any stone unturned. Even if they waited on it, they later on explained it. Even like, you know, like they still brought up the Jay and Roman things from 2 years ago. Like that was so good because they played off of the past and layers to it. Reason why people are like, oh, is Jay gonna turn? Oh, Roman's coming back to SmackDown. Oh man, they dedicated a tag team match to them and they didn't win. Reason why all that matters is because you guys paid attention to detail, man. And that's all I want from wrestling. Yo, pay attention to detail. Detail matters. I know you're making the money. I know business is good. I know people are making a lot of money on the roster, and you guys are making a lot of money. I get it. Yo, shout out to everybody getting their bread. But details matter for the consumer when we watch Raw and SmackDown. I come on this podcast not to kill wrestling, because I love wrestling. I come in here to critique it from a place of film, direction, production, and I think as a writer ourselves and directors ourselves, which we've directed things in the past together, we know that, hey, when you miss the shot, you got to redo that shit. When you know everything for the take, and that little bit of detail, you got to like, all right, let's clean that up a little bit. It could be a little bit better. I don't mean to be a perfectionist. I don't, but I think that it's not too much asking for consistency in your storytelling, man. I get it. It's wrestling. It's irrational and all that stuff. We watch Orange Cassidy beat niggas with his hand in the pockets every week. I get it, yo. I understand all that. I'm willing to suspend disbelief. But there's certain things that when you come out and make a grand statement of a draft and then do certain things, I have a problem with it. When you can make a grand statement, oh man, it's gonna be, finish the story. He loses by cheating and then comes up the next night and says, hey, you were the better man. It makes no sense. We all saw it. He cheated. You know, when you have Brock Lesnar attack him out of nowhere for no reason.
You sound like me when AEW was talking about wins and losses, and I was like, how is shit going to like correlate? You know, the power. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
you're like right. They fucking scrap their own fucking rule in a sense, and they don't really make it matter. You know, they don't really encapsulate the rule. And I get it. It's a lot of
once you bring it up,
we got to accept it now, you know, and that's what problem with wrestling is the details matter. And I just am hoping I want to manifest details mattering across the fucking board, yo. I don't give a fuck if you guys said, hey, card subject to change or whatever it may be. You know, I don't give a fuck. I do think that there's ways to write where even the card changes, but you don't go against your rules or whatever you set up for your consumer. Like, it's these little things, man, storytelling wise, you know, like let's talk about AEW. And I call that, and shout out to AEW, they're doing great business. They're getting their third show, awesome. But I say attention to detail, you know, missed opportunities. We talk about the Jay White stuff. They're going to fight next week. Cool. Jay White, Ricky Starks. Cool. Let's talk about the main event.
I'm so bored with that shit. I was so excited. Oh my God. Oh my.
You see? It could have, you know, that these are two wrestlers that you like, right? You love Ricky Starks. You love Jay White. You should really be excited for this match. You should be like, man, this should be awesome. But they did not present it in a way. Details matter. Yo, Don Callis. Listen, And this is not about match quality because I can watch wrestling and I'm very satisfied with match quality every week. Doesn't matter if I'm watching AEW, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. I can pull up Impact or MLW. I'm like, yo, these guys are killing it, busting their ass. The performers are going out there and performing. And that kills me to come on this podcast and then talk about the storyline because you guys have missed opportunities. Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley, spoiler alert, these are two of my best performers of the week this week because of that cage match. I really enjoyed it. They went out there and just balled out, man. They just went all out. The Don Callis turn, although I did not expect it. One, missed opportunity. Why was it on a random Dynamite? In my opinion, it could have been done at the pay-per-view. Two, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense right now.
Is literally 2 weeks away.
2 weeks? You couldn't wait?
You couldn't wait 2 weeks.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it's like running a red light. You know what I'm saying? You had to fuck right now, nigga. You couldn't wait. You couldn't wait. You had to put blood on your penis because you couldn't jerk your dick, nigga. What? Are you kidding me?
Yo, I mean, I was shocked. I was not expecting it this week. But at the same time, was it a good shock of like, oh, it was like more like, oh, okay, you're going there, you know? Like,
yeah, that's exactly how I feel when you run the red light. You're like, oh, okay. This is not as enjoyable as
speak for yourself, man. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I do not run any red lights. But that's why I'm saying AEW, you couldn't have like waited a little bit. Like, come on, you were that horny to get this turn off. Like, it just makes no fucking sense to me. Just give it some more time, attention to detail. Like, the timing is everything to me, I think, in wrestling and how you do something. Like, do I want to see AJ Styles and Seth Rollins match? Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. But guess what? I would rather you just drafted AJ Styles as fucking Raw and set it up for like a later date or something. Like, that's what, you know, it's just little details here and there, you know. And that he could have been his first competitor for the championship right after he won it. You know, like, that's the kind of thing I would have done. Because right now, AJ don't need a loss coming back from an injury on SmackDown, especially with that weak ass roster. None of those guys need those losses, to be honest with you. Like,
yo, but that's what I'm trying to tell you about the draft. This gives you real angst like a draft, nigga. You nigga, it's plenty of time. Again, I'm a Cowboys fan. You a Jets fan. It's plenty of time. We done looked at the draft. We're like, what the fuck is this? What is this?
But my thing is, what the fuck is this? Is more like this shouldn't even exist. Like, rather than you should have drafted this, you should have drafted.
Yo, you thought the Cowboys drafted Jalen Smith and he ripped his knee. Like,
man.
why did we waste the first round draft pick on and then pay the motherfucker? Like, what are we doing?
Was that this year?
Nah, that was a couple years when he was in Notre Dame. You know?
Oh, did he play at all?
No, yeah, he ended up playing for the Cowboys a couple years. He was never panned out to what we thought he was.
He was generational talent like that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, we look at, yo, Cowboys ain't never had no cornerback since Deion. Why you ain't get Jalen Ramsey? Oh, because you want to get Zeke? Oh, okay. Look how that turned out. You know what I'm saying? Like, the drafts. Yeah, the residual effects of drafts and your team.
I feel you, man. In that sense, yeah, I do get pissed the fuck off with this shit. But it's more from the standpoint, rather like with, you know, it's like with my football fans, like with Jets, I'm either super happy with it or super confused because I'm like, why did you pick this person? With WWE, it's like, why even do this thing, man? If you're gonna go the next week and do something against your own fucking draft, like, you know, it doesn't make much sense to me at all, you know. And then when you draft the people to each roster, are you setting your both rosters up for potential for success down the line? Right now, think about it. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair is still Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown each week, and the draft was supposed to be finalized on Monday. Like, it's just, why did you even do this shit? Like, it's like, it doesn't make much sense to me why you make a big deal about this thing. You know, in AEW, it's more about attention to detail and their storytelling. Like, just don't do something just to do it. Do it at the right time, the right place, for the right reasons, and be creative, man, on how you go about it. That Kenny Omega John match was fire, bro. I mean, I don't always like the blood and guts stuff, but I do enjoy it from time to time. That's when it mattered. These two guys in the ring, it mattered the blood and on the thumbtacks, the glass. I appreciate it. There's an artistry to it. When you're not doing it just for senseless violence, they did it very well. But the turn, there's no title at stake. There's no reason for him to do it then. Like,
we talking about so much about this draft, nigga. AEW is about to have a whole nother show, and dude, guess what? A draft. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I mean, like,
I heard it's going to be like a
designated masters,
like a more like a light draft.
Like a draft.
It's so fucking stupid to me.
It's a draft.
Don't say nothing. They should just make the show and shut the fuck up. Put people on the show, and you don't even have to say draft. You can say, listen, hey, Ricky Starks, you're not gonna be wrestling on Saturday. Just so you know, we're gonna keep you on Rampage. Every now and then you're gonna do Dynamite, whatever it may be. Keep it that way, and don't tell the fans shit about no fucking draft, nothing. Because guess what? We know what's gonna happen. People are gonna show up that should have been exclusive to Dynamite on Collision on Saturday, and we're like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, why is so and so in the fucking Collision zone? Whatever the fuck it is. I feel like it's a real trap, setting up like these like strict guidelines on your roster. I always hated it, unless you guys have designated paid live events for each show, like Raw. Like back in the day when SmackDown had their own shows and Raw had their own shows, then it matters because it's like they're genuinely two different companies almost, even though they're not. It feels like, okay, you got to watch SmackDown to get the SmackDown stories. You got to watch Raw to get the Raw stories. And it's going to accumulate in 2 months at that pay-per-view. All right. And then I'm going to pay Raw pay-per-view. I'm going to get the SmackDown pay-per-view. Which one I'm going to do? Which is the better show? There's competition to see who's the better show. Now you got like Roman versus Sami and KO the next pay-per-view. It makes no fucking sense to me. I hope that after that they end the Sami KO bloodline stuff, because like you draft them to, why even draft them to Raw if you're going to do that? Keep them on SmackDown. Fuck it. Move on. Let's move on.
Where you want to move on to, man?
Well, I don't even fucking know, man. Shout out to Trick. Dude gives me Booker T vibes. Book and Black real quick. Trick Williams. He has the height, the stature, and charisma. And one thing I always remembered about Booker T is that when Booker T is doing like his promos, his backstage, vignettes, it seems like he has a lot of fun with the comedy stuff. And Trick Williams seems like a guy who has a lot of fun with the comedy stuff too. But at the same time, when it's time to turn it on and be serious, they have that gear too. Trick feels like he can do both. And that's a huge asset in WWE. There's certain wrestlers that can't really do the comedy stuff. Like if I was a wrestler, I don't think I could do comedy very well. I think I would have to be like a really good competitor or some shit, like a wrestler's wrestler or something like that. I think that the comedy stuff though can get you over as an entertainer, and especially in WWE, and it continues your career longevity. So I see him being a guy with the stature he has, the build, the athleticism he had brought to that match with Braun Breaker. He's improved tremendously since I saw him way back when on Level Up. Like he's doing a great job. And I see him as a potential future NXT champion, North American champion, whatever it may be. But right now it's not his time. But with this Carmelo Hayes stuff going with Braun Breaker, he's been a great asset for this angle. And I should give him a shout out.
Absolutely. I think he's proven himself to be a tremendous asset. I think for the most part, there hasn't been a time where Carmelo hasn't felt special without Trick. You know what I'm saying? So I will say that Trick has been much an intricate part of the rise of Carmelo, even if it's down to the entrances, even if it's down to bigging up your nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like sometimes your hype man is what niggas remember the performance. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes like, yo, this nigga got me amped, nigga. Like, but it's already my favorite song.
Yeah.
Like, coming from my favorite song. Melo's my favorite killer. My character, I'm coming, but this nigga just got me amped. Like, you know what I'm saying? He hitting all the ad libs, you know what I'm saying? Him and Melo.
Yeah, man. He's
with the rapping, like, Trick's been very intricate in how we receive Carmelo and how big of a character jump that has helped with him. But I would say this:
he's the split star to Carmelo's Buster, who just takes it to the next level, takes the performance to the next level. You know, I saw them live at MS, and I actually know Nassau Coliseum, and Spliff, man. Even they old, but they still got the place rocking.
You know what? I'm not even going to do that to my man Trick. My man Trick is the Jim Jones thing to Carmelo's Cameron, right?
Okay.
Jim Jones wasn't even necessarily really rapping for real, but he rapped. You know what I'm saying? You know, niggas just knew that was Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? Cameron was that nigga. Once Cameron took a step back, Jimmy got on because he was Cameron's man. And when Jimmy got on, nigga. So I feel like Trick gonna be like Jimmy. I feel like once Trick get on, like, niggas is really gonna understand. Like, he got a Summer to Miami in him. You know what I'm saying? He got a balling in him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that nigga gonna put out a couple of joints.
He got a couple of hits coming down the line. Yeah, he got a couple of hits.
Trick got some bangers coming up.
Nah, but he's doing his thing. I think he changed up his ring gear. He got the little straps on. Got the, he looks like the part. So shout out to him, man. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to kind of put we had bounced to AEW a little bit, and I kind of just want to say, Orange Cassidy has to have a storyline, and maybe Miro is it.
Oh my God, that's another thing. Sorry.
Miro, Orange Cassidy, my bang.
I wanted to stop the hate, but I gotta hate a little more.
You got hate on what? What happened? What's going on?
Fuck, attention to details, nigga. Like Miro, Thunder Rosa. Haven't seen him in months.
What's happening? They went straight to Tony Khan's door, nigga.
That's how you bring a nigga back?
I'm going straight to the boss's office. What's happening? I think my check. What's happening? What's going on?
Why do that, yo?
And that's what Tony gonna tell him. Hold on, this is my storytelling. Hold on. You say don't tell
the same show.
Hold on. Hold on. Listen.
Yo, you've been waiting for Miro. You've been waiting for Miro. They don't say a word.
Yeah, I mean, what you want them to
do? Walk into his office.
What you want them to do?
Like, no, man. Yes, I mean, shit. This is wrestling, bro. This is professional wrestling, bro.
Nah, listen, I'm wrestling Monday, Wednesday, or Saturday. Which one? That's what I ain't coming to work for free, motherfucker. What you mean?
Yo, keep that shit behind the door.
That's what they did.
This is the thing. This is just as bad as Jay White debuting by running out. This is just as bad. I'm sorry, bro. Like, Miro.
No, hold on. Listen, you don't. Hold on. This is what I don't understand with you. You just said they got a show on Saturday. They got a show on Friday. They got a show on Wednesday. You don't know what show Miro's coming back to. Dynamite is just their main. Dynamite is their Raw.
And you don't show him on TV until he shows the fuck up. Like, that's when you show him, man. Like, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone when I watch AEW. I'm like, do you guys know what you have in Jay White? Do you guys know what you have in a Miro? Or you guys debuted fucking Matt Hardy better than all these guys who are way more talented and more like beneficial to your company.
That's
for a long haul. I think if you want to showcase your talent in the best way,
that's cap.
Come on, let's be real fucking here, yo. Cap. You think that Matt Hardy had a worse debut than just a run out like Jay White or walking into the office?
You want to say that?
Come on.
First of all, Matt Hardy came with his own shit, his own gimmick, his own props, his own intellectual property, and his own motherfucking cachet, nigga. He came with the name. So yeah, his shit gonna be a little bit more present. And he did it without a fucking crowd and still pop niggas.
Like, what about Jay White? Jay White don't got his own cachet, his own credit, his own
another
history.
Nigga coattail. He riding Bullet Club, nigga. What you talking about? That ain't even his shit. That ain't even his own gang, nigga. He fourth generation.
You know the value of a Jay White right now in AEW. You don't have him debut by just running out and for a beatdown on somebody. You don't have Miro return by walking into the boss's office. And in the same show, have Thunder Rosa return the exact same way and reduce all the steam and surprise of when they're going to show up to like, oh, I guess they're coming back. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, the opportunities are missed with AEW to make a moment out of it rather than just some backstage shit or a run out. Like, it's sad.
What are we supposed to what I don't understand it. All Access and Britt Baker has already told you that Thunder Rosa has been, we don't even know if she's coming back to compete. She might be coming back to do commentary. She might be coming, like, we don't know.
Yo, let's stop. Let's stop. Now who's capping? Listen, Chris, you can say that it's a bad return. You can absolutely, without any type of hate, that
what do you want her to do? Come in and save the bitches that's getting spray painted?
Hell yeah, that would be perfect. That would be
when her enemy is one of the niggas that's getting spray painted, nigga. She don't like Britt Baker. Why I gotta say this bitch? Why I gotta say this hoe? I like this hoe.
Listen, you got it's a work, bro. Go out there and do your fucking job, yo.
She came to Tony Khan. What am I working on? What the fuck am I working on? You want me to come back and do what? No.
Yo, this is your fucking job. You gotta be professional. You gotta go out there. You gotta work with people that you don't like sometimes. Go out there, do the blood and guts match with Britt Baker as a tag team. We can do the fucking angle afterwards. Whatever you want to do. You can even tell the story like, oh, these girls don't really like each other. They have history. Do the whole thing that, you know, the wrestling tropes. Oh, they really got history. You know, and
that the only thing that would matter is Jade.
Yes, that too.
Okay, so why would you waste Thunder Rosa, nigga?
Why would you waste Thunder Rosa by having her walk into Tony Khan's office in the middle of the show?
It's just to say that dumb. I'm back to add intrigue. What are you talking about? Well, right now it's intrigue. It's intrigue.
Oh God, I don't know why I can't explain this to you. There are special moments when people return. You know wrestling tropes of returns and how you present somebody after an injury, after they come back from an injury. You don't just have them walk into the boss's office and show them talking.
Did you
backstage.
Hear the pop? Did you hear the pop? Thunder Rosa's back. Guess what we're gonna do? Tune into Wednesday to see why. What Tony Khan's gonna say. Hey, Thunder Rosa's back and she's on Collision. Tune until Saturday. Thank you very much. That is part of the fucking story, nigga. Why can't you ride the wave? Jesus Christ!
Wow, yo, you're funny, yo. The way that you are just caping for AEW lately, I can't stand this shit, dog. I can't. I thought that I would appreciate when you started to appreciate AEW, but this is blasphemy, bro. Like, this is ridiculous. None of this makes sense. I'm really in the fucking Twilight Zone. I swear to God, like, hey, you have it, bro. It was perfect.
I didn't say it was perfect. I didn't say it was perfect. I didn't say it was good. I did say that Dynamite was a good show.
It was.
First and foremost.
It was.
Dynamite was a good show. And within Dynamite, there were footnotes in there like Miro's back. And I understand you saying like Miro's supposed to be a big return. But in the grand scheme of everything that we're talking about, everything is locked up across the board. Everything is locked up. We got the World Heavyweight Championship locked up with the Pillars. We got the TNT Championship that was his title was locked up with fucking Warlord Christian Cage. Shout out to fucking Christian Cage, by the way. My God.
He's on my list.
So TNT's locked up. I just said international championship is the way that he could probably go.
Yeah, I like that idea. I do.
We need to get that nigga international challenger. But so I can hear you saying like Miro could have came and attacked Orange Cassidy. I'm
Could
not
have
saying
broke his back, yo. Like, I mean, especially after the last time we saw, they were tag teaming together, I believe. They were on the same side. The last time we saw, I think they were going against House of Black. So him returning and then not joining the best friends, like he has a million friends, and like turning on him and just like, yo, I'm after that international championship, and finally getting Miro some, gold, and I
but
think it'll be amazing. The Redeemer redeems himself. But when you just have him, just like we haven't seen him in months. And the first time you see him, it should matter way more. And you know what takes steam out of it is that they did it twice in the same show with 2 stars. Like if they did it just once, I'll maybe give it a little bit of. And I get it. They're going to be on Collision. I get it. Like they're going to be part of the next roster.
I'm not even going to. I just, if WWE would have had 2 returns that came backstage, I wouldn't feel this type of way. And I'm just being across the board. I'm just honestly, and that's the only thing that I wanted to get to a place with AEW, right? I wanted to get to a place where I did treat them as equal. So I will say this: if they're and it's happened, they're like the WWE has presented people just backstage, and the crowd goes and they just sit there with their hands in their pocket. It was like next interview or whatever the case may be, or next and I get that.
Usually the return, though, I mean, I don't think WWE would never do it this way. I don't think they would.
But these aren't necessarily major players right now. I get what you're saying. When they were there, they were. But just like AJ was a big star. He broke his ankle. He wasn't even in the Rumble. Guess when first time we saw this nigga? In a tournament. Or no, I'm sorry, with the Viking Raiders.
Yeah. But he did some business though. He handled his business, talked his shit, and said you were back. Like that's I mean, mind you, that wasn't the best return ever either, but it was better than what the AEW did, like that by miles and leaps to me.
This is what I'm saying. If AJ would have came back and too sweet of a nigga, just to let me know that AJ was back, I would not have killed it. I would not have demanded him to do business. That's all I'm saying. And AJ's
I think that I would have said something. I think I would have like, man, you could have done something better. But the reason I think I'm a little bit on edge because AEW has done this multiple times. Like now, where I'm like, yo, like, I think if they like, you guys should know your fan base. Like, they love Miro, they love Thunder Rosa. Like, I'm at the bar, the guys, I'm like, yo, I'm rooting for what's her name? These guys love Thunder Rosa. Like he just loved Thunder Rosa, and she was going up against what's the fucking name? The wrestler chick who's a veteran who's now on ROH. Serena Deeb. Excuse me, yeah, Serena Deeb. I'm rooting for her to win that match. The dude's just going like, no, Thunder Rosa gotta win this. She had a whole bunch of dudes over there that was just cheering for Thunder Rosa to win that match, and it was a great match. Like if you know your fan base, you know that Miro and Thunder Rosa are gonna get a pop. And you want to do it in a special way, why not do it on the debut Collision? Why not do it like on the week before the Collision? Why not do it not backstage? Why not do it in the ring? I guess time constraints or whatever you want to do, just don't do it then. You can't wait for pay-per-view. You can't wait for that.
Or no, I mean, listen,
2 weeks, like you said, they want to run the red light.
Why would you? This is what I'm trying to also tell you though. Everything is strategic, brother. Like Tony. Okay, this is my thing. And that's what I'm trying to say. I don't understand, like, and I don't want to like browbeat you. Like, I don't know why I'm not speaking Chinese or whatever. Like, listen, Tony Khan had an announcement to an announcement. Everything, Tony Khan said, hey, next week we got an announcement. Like, nigga, I thought today was the announcement. Right? So, like,
wasting fucking time.
Everything I'm saying, I'm assuming everything is saying when Tony Khan comes back out last week, you say I like things to be tied away, like the bloodline. You say bloodline never left things unturned. That's why I gave Tony Khan last week. It's not very often that he leaves things where there's loose ends. Whether it's long and drawn out, and we like, damn, did you forget about it? And he finally, encapsulated with an Adam Hangman Page being champion 3 years later. Like, we like, damn, nigga, I thought you forgot about your number 1 draft pick. That nigga look like Geno Smith out here on this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. But, like, he lets you know, like, nah, I ain't never forget. I ain't forget. I will say this, and this is why I say I have the benefit of the doubt. yes, the Jay White thing is lax. Yes, they're giving a lot of time to Jeff Jarrett. Yes, they're, Matt Hardy, and Jeff Hardy is now with the Guns. It seems to be that Tony Khan, like you say, get your shit together, Tony. Get your shit together. Get your shit together. Tony is acquiescing to a lot of veteran presence, right? And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. And the reason why I'm saying that is Miro, Thunder Rosa, Jay White, they all are lower on the pecking order when we talk about a Jericho, a Moxley, a Adam Cole, an Elite, the Kenny Omegas. Those people, those presentations, those storylines are going to seem and look bigger because they have more influence. Thunder Rosa and Miro are two people who have, in public and in private, said, hey, you're not doing what I want with me correctly. And Tony Khan is saying, hey, brother, you ain't really got that pull right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, realistic.
There's a couple things, man, like you say about Miro that he could have been doing by now. Andrade could have been doing by now. You're just now getting House of Black back on TV. Yo, you could have been Jade and Britt Baker should have been had a match. The Elite versus BCC should have been happened. Ricky Stark should have been pushed in a proper manner. Like there's a lot of shit that's just like I think that you focus on these veterans like Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, John Moxley, CM Punk, a little bit over, like just a little bit too heavy-handed on that. And I think that at first when you guys started your company, it wasn't like that always. Now it feels like it's just a little bit too heavy-handed on that. Got away from this thing a little bit with Darby. Appreciate it, yo, because he didn't like. Let's get away from that. Now let's keep moving with the 4 pillars match. The 4 pillar match should have happened before even MJF had a championship. To be quite honest, in my opinion, like I think there's a lot of things that he does a little bit too late, and when he does do it, it's like he's rushing it or he just doesn't have the time. He has his mindset on Jericho and Adam Cole, and he's planting those seeds properly for that, laying it out, making sure that it grows properly, and it's doing pretty good. That angle is being given it the time it needs to grow. The BCC stuff, and he's setting it up, even though I may not like it. He's trying to set it up for that match. They're going to be having. I just think that the attention to detail on those talents, Miro, Thunder Rosa, Ricky Starks, House of Black. We talked about Orange Cassidy's getting a lot of matches, not a lot of story time. Like I believe that just a little bit more of attention on that can make it for a well-rounded show, because now you're just throwing shit at the wall. Don Callis turns randomly at the main event, and mind you, the turn kind of made it worse for me. Like I'm like, yo, like, and maybe I'm being too critical, but I'm willing to take that criticism. Like maybe I'm one of those guys who's a little bit too critical on wrestling right now, but I do think that the criticisms that I'm having are not unwarranted. I don't think they're just like, I want this match and that's it. You should push this guy. I'm saying no. You should listen to the fan base. You should look at what you're doing and capitalize on certain things a certain way. A Miro turn backstage is way less impactful than a Miro turn Collision Night 1. Then way less way impactful than Miro turn at Double or Nothing. And I think it's not too crazy to say these things, and on both fronts in WWE too. There's things that are missed opportunities, but and that's just from my observation on the shows. Although the wrestling has been great, I had an entertaining week this week watching it. But I would really put it this way: Don Callis turning matters. The things they're doing matter. Jay White returning choosing AEW matters. Miro coming matters. Rose on the Rosa matters. But how do you get the most? I always say juice out of out of the orange. The squeeze out of it, so that you guys can remember it a year from now. Which I don't think we're going to remember Miro coming backstage, or Jay White, or Thunder Rosa, or Don Callis returning. None of these things I don't think we're going to remember in the long term. Like, oh man, that was crazy. None of it.
Dude, every moment, it seems like every moment needs to be like that, though.
I think they can definitely manufacture some that that can make it more impactful, more memorable for sure. But no, like I remember when Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole showed up. I'm gonna remember that forever. Like because they took their time with that. They didn't just throw him on TV when they got him up. You know, they waited. You know.
But I don't remember when Wardlow came back out again his hair chopped off. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's impactful though. He came back won a title, you know what I'm saying?
That wasn't impactful to me. I mean, that's your opinion, but it wasn't for me. I mean, honestly, I told you.
I know. I said it wasn't. I know.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But that's my point. Like there are things that happen that just don't click. You know what I'm saying? Like
I mean, Wardlow returning too is like part of the story. It wasn't like a return after an injury or somebody who wasn't on your roster before. Those moments are a little bit different. Like it's like if a guy has like a storyline injury and goes away for 2 weeks, come back, that's not meant to rock your world. I think it could matter in the run of that angle, but come on. Adam Cole arriving rocked the world. You know, Daniel Bryan returning rocked the world. Being, you know, showing up for the first time in AEW rocked the world. Miro and Thunder Rosa, who have held championships in your company before, should rock the world a little bit.
Adam Cole just can't. So would you want Miro to cut a promo like Adam Cole did?
It would be better than what they did. I'm not saying that's what I wanted, but it would definitely be better than how they took made his return. You know, like I said with AJ, it wasn't the best thing they did with AJ Styles on SmackDown, but it was better than him just going backstage and going to Adam Pearce's office and two-sweeting somebody. You know, like that would have been like, wow, that's how he's returning from injury. So like after a big hiatus, I think those are the times where you're like, all right, let's bring you in a way that, you know, is not lackluster. And I think that it's going to be a conversation for a week, and then no one's going to talk about it again. And that's the thing about, and that's sad because Miro and Thunder Rosa deserve better, in my opinion.
Speaking about the week, let's talk about our wrestlers of the week.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I went first last week, so
I got you. All right, let me pull this up real quick. All right, so I'm going to start off with my underrated performers of the week, or underground performers of the week. Excuse me. Wow. Let's go with Anna Jay, number 5. Yes. She has.
Who put you on? Who put you on, nigga? Who put you on?
Listen, you don't have to put me on an Anna Jay.
You have that attitude, nigga. Huh? Who put you on?
Listen, I've been on Anna Jay since I seen her like way long ago. Like I saw her a while ago. I was like, yo, I'm not sure Jungle Boy can handle all that, but hey, props to him. But yeah, she's doing her thing. I know she lost a match against Homegirl, but I think she has a lot of potential.
You mean Julia Hart? Don't disrespect it. Don't disrespect.
I mean, you gotta do something. Let me remember your name, like for real. Like you got. I mean, I think Julia Hart got some potential too. Don't be wrong, but I think she got some work to do. I think that Anna Jay came off more as a star, in my opinion.
Yeah, Anna Jay's a star because she has the fat ass and the bad ass.
Moving along, let's go to collectively number 4. Number 4 and 3. Rey Fénix and Claudio Castagnoli. Boy, they put on a great match on AEW. Actually, you know, the next 3, you can put them in any order. Honestly, I haven't ranked these really, but those guys had a great match. It just reminded me of how good they were. So you know, I love Rey Fénix. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. So you know, he's doing his rope flip stuff, and Claudio with his power game and technical abilities. I think that was probably one of the best matches of the night. One of the best matches of the week, honestly. And then we got Zoe Stark. She had her debut match on Raw. I always say she has a lot of potential. She didn't seem intimidated by the moment at all, even backstage, on the mic, in the ring. Everything came together.
You're back waiting for this. She like that minor league nigga that's been down there for like 15 years. Like getting that call up, nigga. I'm swinging.
Yeah, she did her whole. She got her shit in, man. So shout out to Zoe Stark. I see potential there. As a heel, I'm down for it, you know. And then Dominic Mysterio, you know, he had a great match too on Raw, you know, and finally got a victory over was it Tozawa? No, I mean Xavier Woods, excuse me. And Yeah, shout out to Tom. That was good. Yeah, shout out to Tom.
God, he's your number one, and you like, nigga, yeah. Shout out to you.
I mean, it's not in order. Like I said, if you really want to go like in order, I gotta reorder it. But those are the 5 people I put down. Goddamn it, just bear with me here, okay? But shout out to Dom. He's getting a lot of heat. Put it that way. He had a good and the match. He did good. Honestly. Now I have a lot of people for my performance of the week. I just haven't ordered it, man. I have not put it in any order at all, man. Shit. I want to give so many people credit, man. I do, because
No,
it
you
was a
don't.
good week. No, I do. I do want to give it. There's so many people I want to give credit because there was a lot of great matches, man. Let me see how I want to word this thing. Let's go with number 5, Christian Cage. Now, honorable mention before I get to Christian Cage goes to AJ and Bobby Lashley. Both of those guys on SmackDown had 2 matches, put on a great performance. But number 5, I'm going to Christian Cage because of that promo. It just reminds me of how good Christian is on the mic, how much he can garner from a crowd. I had it on my list for a minute. Like as soon as he started talking, the way he talked about Wardlow and his dad. Let's face it, your dad's not famous. No one cares. It doesn't matter. Telling Detroit to kiss his ass after the promo, after they were talking shit, saying Edge is better. Everything about that performance, it warranted my to be on my list. Christian Cage doing his thing, being a scumbag that he is. Number 4, I'm gonna take it to Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, like I said, has been on a tear in NXT. He should be called up soon. Honestly, I hope so. But in the meantime, I feel like he's finding his stride. I think if he gets called up, I'd rather this version of Braun Breaker get called up rather than fanfare one. This one of the complete, dominant, like just powerhouse that's gonna go out there and enforce his will on anybody. I think that's the type of guy I want to see out there. Number 3, Seth freaking Rollins, bro. I mean, seems like he can't miss. Every single week he's putting on bangers and matches. Triple Threat was great. He had a great match with Finn Balor. Oh man, and I want to give Finn another honorable mention. Like he's another guy. Finn has been great week after week. Him and Cody put on a great show. What's wrong with you, bro? What are you doing?
I'm singing Seth Rollins in my head. Why you go ahead? I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, Seth Rollins. That's my number 3 of the week. And the top 2 goes to Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley for that cage match on AEW banger. And that's like I said before, I appreciate the hardcore aspects of it and the artistry they brought to it. Like I said, there's a tasteful way of doing it. They did it in a tasteful way. And shout out to Jon Moxley for taking all those bumps on the fucking glass and everything. He took a majority of the bumps. Then they went through the cage and all that stuff with the V trigger. Every moment of that, I fuck with. So shout out to them.
Moxley is Moxley gonna put his body through a hell of high water.
Yeah, that's why he's number 1. He's really my number 1 out of this whole list. Moxley, he's the devil. He's that dude.
All right. Underrated performers of the week for me. So, first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and it's a surprising thing starting off the list. I never really fuck with Kip Sabian, but he with Butcher and Blade. Butcher and Blade don't miss. I like Butcher and Blade, brother. I like the gimmick. I like their chemistry. They from the town, you know what I'm saying? So like I can't even hold it. They had a really good kind of contest with the Acclaim. Of course, the Acclaim is building up steam, but Butcher and the Blade just is good. Number 4, I'm gonna go with Julia Hart. She is consistently getting better. Her gimmick with the House of Black and her her character, her promos is something like when she let niggas know the rules of what this about to be again. Your ass whooped against her 3 niggas. You know what I'm
She's
saying?
very nice though. Like I'm not buying it with her. Like she seems so like nice.
That's the reason why I'm buying. That's the reason why I'm buying it, because that is one that, listen, you know anything about white women, okay? And then this is not no disparaging to all white women, but you know, the nice ones is the ones that can get you the life one. You know what I'm saying? So like, I ain't even gonna hold you, brother.
I want her to change her voice a little bit darker. You know, she's singing her entrance music. Just come out there, just own it.
That ominous innocent shit. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
That ominous innocent shit with the 3 niggas behind her. It's the bitch with the big bad brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's the cheerleader that really don't like wearing the colorful drink, but she wear all like got the black fingernail paint and shit, like just throwing all the aesthetic off. She's nice. She do the work in school. She's not a troublemaker. She's not a fighter. She's not a rager.
It's like she's going through her emo phase, man.
Yo, yes, a straight teenage Avril Lavigne, my nigga, causing ruckus with those 3 badass brothers of hers. Number 3, I can't have her without Anna Jay. Anna Jay also somebody else that has improved tremendously. I mean, again, I don't think her and Jack Perry can have a relationship. And although Jack seems like a guy that doesn't like love the business, I do believe that he loves what the business kind of offers him. Like it allows, it's an outlet. Clearly, I do believe he has a passion for it, but I don't think it's something that he like eats, sleeps, because I do think he's a young kid. He wants to do other things. But I will say that him and Anna Jade, I can't not fathom that they aren't getting better together, right? And
Jack Perry.
Yeah, Jack Perry and that Anna Jay.
The guy that you kill every single week is not ready to be in the main event.
Yeah. That doesn't mean he's not a good performer, right? Yeah, I'm saying that doesn't. Listen, I can tell you this. That nigga Jack Perry did not deserve to be with Adam Cole. That nigga Jack Perry did not deserve to be in the World Heavyweight Championship match, but that nigga Jack Perry can wrestle his ass off. All right, so I ain't gonna take that from the little, you know what I'm saying? Even though me and him the same probably size and all that, you know what I'm saying? So, but Anna Jay is number 3. All right, number 2 for underground performer of the week, or underrated underground performer of the week. I am going to give it to, and this is again probably going to be controversial. I want to see more of a significance with LA Knight.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily particularly good. It wasn't well received by me. But when I see that nigga, when I see him with a microphone, when I see him with a little bit of time to speak into that microphone, I'm engaged. I'm tuned in. What he got to say, what he about to say, what he got. Like, LA Knight is somebody that I wish can. That's why I wish the United States Championship was on a baby, because I think that would have been an easy kind of championship for LA Knight to win. But I also do believe that LA Knight is in a way that he's going to be in that Money in the Bank ladder match.
LA Knight should beat Austin Theory for the championship, to be quite honest, as a babyface.
I mean, but LA Knight's not a baby though.
Just turn him. I mean, no one's gonna care.
I mean, yeah, but I like LA Knight as a heel. That's why he's my number 2 right now. I love him.
But he's gonna get cheered anyways. Like, he's gonna get cheered as a heel.
It depends on if it's the right baby face. Not really.
LA Knight, I think Austin Theory is a guy. I think LA Knight can get Austin Theory over, honestly, as a heel. if he actually comes out there and talks his shit, and people start cheering for LA Knight, and then he cheats to beat LA Knight, and then they have a feud. Eventually, he gets the championship off of him.
Yeah. I think LA Knight, though, realistically, might be one of the biggest assets available just because.
No, he's underrated for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. And my number one underrated performer of the week is not really an underrated performer, but is underrated to me. I like Toni Storm. I need her to get her shit together. And Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter would be, with this dynamic and character, I think will be a fantastic storyline.
You've seen it already, been there, done that.
I understand.
Listen,
I like Toni Storm. I think I
skipped over the women's roster. Don't trigger me, man. I skipped over AEW roster. I did not want to hate this week, but you're bringing me to it, bro. I mean, hey, if she's number one, I'm not gonna kill it. Go ahead.
I mean, she had a good match. She had a really good match. She had a really good outing. She looked good. I do think that her storyline and the people around her is not allowing her to flourish. This is kind of like an Io Sky situation, right? Io Sky can simply be an underrated performer of the week because she's underrated in the presence of how she's presented. She's anchored by a storyline that doesn't allow her to progress, and we know who she can be.
No, I agree with you, man. I mean, if you see that in her, I fucking hear you, bro. I do not want to see her in Jamie Hayter again. Jamie Hayter is a champion. She's a champion right now. What the fuck, bro? No, forget it. Sorry, go ahead. I'm not gonna get dragged into this rabbit hole. Just go ahead. You're right. Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter, I think would be great. It would be
when we talking about the realism of like matches, storyline, I don't want to see Jamie Hayter and Saraya. I know we already talked about Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. That's something we like. That's something we talked about. We talked Jamie Hayter and Mercedes May. We talked about that. Yes.
They ain't doing shit with her, yo. They ain't doing shit with Jamie Hayter. Like, this is crazy. Everybody begged and pleaded for Jamie to get the championship just for 6 months of her to do nothing.
Oh, like MJF?
Let's not go there, bro. He's had a great. That's not even comparable, bro.
Oh, why?
He just had one of the best matches. He just had one of the matches of the year a couple months ago. So let's stop.
I'm sorry, and Jamie didn't have a fucking match of the year, women's match of the year with Riho? No? Okay.
No.
All right. Okay. You're just a hater. I got you. It's all right.
It's not my fault.
Like, we're talking about matches, bro. Like, that fucking storyline with Daniel Bryan was shitty. Like,
it was great.
Fucking shit. The match was fucking an hour and 70 minutes. I was asleep doing the podcast after, and all he did was cheat like he always.
You weren't sleeping, dog.
Match of the fucking year. Are you kidding me, nigga?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Listen. You didn't have to bring up NJF. I'm talking about Jamie Hayter.
I'm defending Jamie Hayter. Talking about a 6-month run when MJF is fucking singing New York, and Long Island. You want to say he's a great champion? Get the fuck out of here. He wrestling 3 niggas that don't add up to the one nigga he is, but he having a great motherfucking title run. Nigga, get the fuck out of here, man.
What about it? I got you.
Yes, I am. When it comes to my Jamie. Oh, shit, nigga.
Get the fuck out of here.
You know it ain't no holleration in this dancery, nigga.
Oh shit, man. Okay, man. Yeah.
Let me wrap up my top 5. All right, so top 5 performers of the week, nigga. Shit, got me raising my volume around here, defending me, nigga. Jamie Hayter, me, nigga. Quit playing around here.
It's not even hate on Jamie Hayter. It's just she hasn't done shit. I'm just being honest.
She wrestles. That's what she do. Her storyline is shitty, but she wrestles really great matches.
Okay.
So it's the story of a whole bunch of other people we like, and I get over it because what else I'm gonna do? I don't work.
Then get the championship off her. Put it on somebody else. Then
for what?
Put it on Tony Storm. She never took it off Tony Storm. If you want to do this whole thing,
yeah,
go ahead.
That's why she's my underrated performer of the week. That's why I said Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter should wrestle. Hello, duh. Thank you for agreeing with me. Finally.
She never took it off of her. Okay, go ahead.
Back to my list.
Just to go back around in circles, man.
You say take the title off. First, I say Tony Storm. You say because what were you in? What?
The detour.
The story's shitty.
The detour of Jamie Hayter being champion wasn't worth it, basically. And now we're gonna go right back to Tony. It just makes no fucking sense to me.
I didn't say go back to Tony. You said it. I just said have the match. I would like to have another match because it was a good match. I would like to have this story. This feud has a little bit more oomph to it. I think they can be a little bit more physical this time around. It's like Charlotte and Rhea. Right. We've seen that plenty of times, but them niggas bang.
Shout out to Jamie Hayter. We love you.
Nigga. That's what I'm trying to put them in a comparison to. Rhea and Charlotte is my poor version of Jamie. I'm sorry, Jamie and Tony is my poor version of Rhea and Charlotte because them bitches beat each other's asses, and I like that. That's what I like.
Yeah, I think you just like the asses, but it's okay.
Listen, and shout out to I got very disappointed. I was on Twitter and everybody was trying to let me know, and not just me, like. The women that we prop up, Rhea and Jamie and Tony, they asses is propped up by what they wearing. It's not really asses. And I was kind of very disappointed in the subset of groups because it's a butt, it's a booty, it's an ass, it's that thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's
no, for sure. For sure. I say it all the time, white women only need to have hips for people to say it's ass. I'm not on that side.
No, Nikita is in the lane of that thing. That you know what I mean? That is real life over
there. Yeah. She breaks the scale. Like
she's a barrier crosser, is what she is. She crossed barriers.
That ass crossing barriers. Listen, man. Shout out to Nikita. Shout out to all the women.
You know what I'm saying? But no, okay. So I would say this. Now going into my top 5 is going to seem kind of a little bit repetitive or redundant, but it's going to involve number 5. I'm going to put the Raw's triple threat. So those 3 competitors is going to be all in 5. So you know who was in that match. Number 4 is going to be my SmackDown triple threat because I thought that triple threat, like when I look at it.
Wait, time out. The Raw triple threat, there's 2. Which one are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
On both shows, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's okay. Absolutely. Okay. Seth, Damian Priest, and Miz. No.
Shinsuke Miz?
Seth Shinsuke Damian was that match, I believe.
Miz, Seth, and Shinsuke were in the triple threat. Because Shinsuke and the Miz had their thing, like, we should have worked together, all that shit.
No, it was wait. Because Cody, it was. I don't want that. That wasn't one of them. I don't want that Cody one. Cody was
Damian Priest and Finn. Oh, wait a minute.
No.
I'm confused now.
It was a finish. That's what I'm trying to say. I think the finish. Yeah. The finish was, and let me give me 1 second. Let me, because you got me fucked up here now, nigga. Damn, on my shit, man. It's supposed to be my list, nigga. You got me fucked up on my shit, nigga. Hold on. Give me a Shelly. Double check. Okay, yeah, nigga. I know I wasn't tripping. Seth Shinsuke and Damian Priest slapped. Nigga, I knew
Okay, you're right. My
okay,
bad.
yeah, that's my triple threat.
You're right.
Yeah, that Cody Finn Miz joint wasn't really it didn't really bang with me too much. You know what I'm saying? But no, that Shinsuke, Damian, Seth they all had their workers boots on. You know,
for sure, yeah.
That was nice. But the triple threat from SmackDown, that's number 4. Thank you for having me clarify. Is the AJ Edge Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That felt like a SmackDown.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Like that
because it's all SmackDown veterans, like OGs.
That vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I felt that. So that's my number. That's my number 4 competitive. Number 3, Bobby. Even though in defeat, he looked like a beast in the triple threat with the blood, and then in that match with AJ, I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't nip and tuck as much as I thought it would have been between them back and forth. AJ and Bobby had a good match.
Yeah.
But Bobby, he just looks the part, bro.
Yeah.
He just looks the fucking part. He can do any role you want. He got the crowd doing this. He can have the crowd scared as shit. He can put on big men bumping meat match.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you ever watched Sheamus workouts. You know his YouTube channel. He did one with Bobby. Bobby blew him up. Bobby's workout is crazy. The dude takes care of himself, and he's like 49. Like one thing I noticed about SmackDown was that there's a lot of veterans on that show. Like AJ's older, Rey Mysterio, Edge, Bobby, and they all put on a great show. So shout out to all
them. Which helps me to think like that's gonna be a storyline driven show. Them niggas ain't gonna be working. Them niggas ain't gonna be working too hard. Them niggas ain't gonna be working too much. You know what I'm saying, nigga? We gonna do this thing.
It better be. It's only 2 hours.
Nah. You just said it. These niggas old, brother.
Yeah, I said it better be a storyline different show. So
I thought you meant
it's only 2 hours.
I thought you meant work. I thought you meant they better work. That's what I'm sorry.
No. Better be story driven. I like story. Listen, I don't mind that. Like if you want to wait until the pay-per-view to give me the match, and you want to tell me some like intricate storytelling, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I think Bobby did a really great job in presenting himself
For
well.
Sure. Yeah.
As number 3.
Old as hell. Looks like he's mad young.
Yeah, old as fuck.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm gonna combine another group of people.
46.
Kenny Omega. Damn, I hit the bell before. Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. They had a really good match. Told a really good tour. Told a really good story. Like you say, the drama of Don and didn't really do much, but it did something. Right? Don't really know what it did, but it did something. But I will say that to me was the antithesis of what AEW was, right? Or what they built that to be. We're going to have bangers. It's going to have our own storylines that we create from not nowhere else. It may cross over from somewhere else, but we're not going to dive too deep if it came from that other place. But we're going to build real shit that's under our umbrella, and we're going to create memories and bangers. And they did that. I can't go against the grain with that and say that they weren't at the top of their game when it came to performing that night. Now I have to give my number 1 performer Roman Reigns. My nigga came back. My nigga said, "Oh, you thought we wasn't gonna talk about what happened? You thought I wasn't gonna. You thought, nah, nigga, what y'all niggas did What y'all niggas thought this was? What the fuck was that? Mushed the nigga and then said, I'ma do what you couldn't do because y'all ain't me. And I'm going to dedicate this to my daddy. I'm out. Top performer of the week, nigga.
That's all it takes. Yo, yo, Seth ain't even on his list. And so I'm saying, Seth, man, Roman has a point when he says, yo, you wish you had his schedule. You wish you can do what he did, his setup. You know, all you gotta do is come out there, throw up the ones and leave, and you're top performer of the week. Yeah, all that singing shit, crowd singing, and you kicking your ass and having match of the week after week don't mean shit. Not to the Most High, not to Chris.
Listen, clearly he about to have several weeks of doing that by him being champion. All that whining and crying he did to be champion, and he gonna have several days for me to say he had the best match of the night.
Nah, you put him on the list and the triple threat in some way, but you're sharing it with two other guys. So
I mean, bro. I mean, dang. Dang, man.
But nah, you got a point. Roman, honestly, he's Roman at this point. What are you gonna say? Like, when you bring eyes to the product.
Listen,
great promo.
If Roman's on the show, he very well might have the top performance of the show, whether he wrestles or not. His emotion, his temperament, his tone, his carrying out of the
people story. Are on the edge of their seat to find out what Roman does next, which is just where we're at right now with this reign. He's the top of the industry, top of the card. You know, it makes sense. No, I fuck with your list. I enjoy it. I think I can't dispute it.
Not too much. You could.
Not too much. A little bit, yeah. But yeah, hey, it is what it is. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Roman, he's not on my list, but he definitely was one of the guys who stood out this week for sure. You know, I can't knock that. Before we get out of here, just wanted your take on something.
Mm-hmm.
People in AEW, there's more AEW drama. People are a little bit upset that Will Ospreay is taking one of their spots at WWE. AEW All In. It's in London. Like, I don't get why people would be upset with him taking a spot. I think they could expect that. I think we expect also Jamie Hayter to get showcased and a lot of the talents that are international or, you know, from Europe to get showcased. But do you think they have a leg to stand on?
Nigga, who's mad?
There's the reports are saying that, like, yo, Will Ospreay is taking a spot. People are upset. They're not okay with that because this is a big show and there's so many people on the roster, so there's only so many spots to go around. You know, they already have Forbidden Door where a lot of people were like, all right, cool, this New Japan stuff. But now they're like, okay, All In. It also seems like they're going to be taking a spot. Does this mean that there's no Forbidden Door this year? The All In shit.
I don't know, but how you gonna tell niggas? How you gonna tell Miro that do your job? You work there. I'll tell you what to do, and you gonna ask me what I think about if a nigga not on the show. Nigga, you not on the show, nigga. You ain't big enough to be in London. Your name don't ring bells over here, nigga. I'm sorry. Get your weight up, not your hate up, funky ass nigga. You know what I'm saying?
It's reported that people don't know if they're gonna be on the show, and they're a little upset. But Will Ospreay is already reportedly going to be part of it in London, and it's very likely that he will be around for Forbidden Door 2. So looks like there will be a Forbidden Door 2 when I looked it up. But yeah, this was reported by Ringside News. We don't have any names attached to it, obviously. I'm not sure where the news is coming from. Just want to get your opinion on that. But hey, we'll see. Listen, all in all, Will Ospreay is always welcome to be on a part of a show because I think he's super talented. I can't wait to see him wrestle again.
I mean, I absolutely, and like I said, like there isn't a time where you should, like, if your name can't compete with Will Ospreay, like, then
shut the fuck up.
I mean, goddamn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's Wardlow, my nigga, like, sit your big ass down, bro. Like, bro, Wardlow don't need to be on this show. What the fuck you mean?
Nah, he gotta be on the show.
Nah,
No.
sit your big ass down, nigga.
Nah,
You
he
might have
got
to
fans
buy.
out there. He got fans. I think Wardlow's one of
fans.
those guys that will be on the show. I think
Nigga,
Wardlow.
you saw you ain't had no fans in like Ohio or some shit like that. You want to see? Did you see the internet? There's a picture of Wardlow looking sad as fuck out of autograph signer, nigga. You got no damn fans.
Yeah, that's fucked up, man. Shit.
Send his ass to a meat market. That's where niggas like his ass at. Nigga, go to a butcher house. Go slaughter some shit.
Yo, and that's nothing with Christian Cage. Him mentioning Arn Anderson leaving his son to tag along with
yeah, because his son trash. Brock Russell like 3 matches. We ain't seen that nigga yet.
Yo, man, shout out to Christian Cage, man. It's always a pleasure hearing him. His promos, man, it's hilarious. He makes me laugh, honestly, for real. But it's not. Yeah. Anyways, it's 3:00. Let's get the fuck out of here, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Guys, thanks for listening. All love. Everything is right. Peace out, dog.
I'm not as high as I was last week.
Great job.
Thank you.
Or bad job, however you want to take it. Yeah.
No. I was fucking high.